right, you're on.
Okay.
You're on. This is it.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't show on. It doesn't show on the screen, but you are on. I promise.
Okay. Now it does.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, hello everybody, and welcome to Saturday Morning Live on Network 1901.
Yeah. We are. Oh, go ahead.
God. Can you pull in?
Yep.
So, the funny.
An advertisement is playing. I'm sorry.
So today is a very special day because today marks the debut of my time hosting my first ever show.
First ever show.
For Modern Mouse Radio or Network 1901. And I do have to say, Josh pretty much ruined it like a few times already.
I did?
So, yeah, you had whatever that just happened, and then you tried to interrupt me already.
Okay.
So we're going to see how this goes, but I'm very excited.
I want to interrupt you just because we are trying out a new system. The last 2 weeks, we used our phone to shoot the video, but we're trying out some new things. So if the audio levels are weird on this, let us know, because we'll change up the audio for this.
Yes.
That's important.
Thank you for saying that, co-host, because I definitely could not have said that. So I want to just first say hi to everybody who's already in the chat. That's Skylar, and my dad is here.
Yay.
Noel, Captain Akron. These are people who have been in the chat with us every week that we've done the live show.
Well, I mean, your dad hasn't.
Yeah. My dad really dropped the ball, but he's here today.
Way to go.
So the cool thing about an Angie show is
the dogs barking?
that there are dogs barking, and it's okay because we love dogs. The other cool thing about the Angie show is
graphics. Is props. Cool. Okay, so
it's props.
So really quick.
Oh my god.
No, you're doing a great job hosting. But I just need you to know that we're into this, and people may not know. I mean, yes, in the title it says what we're talking about, but people need to know what we're talking about today.
I have a very specific process of how I'm trying to run the show, but you're so nervous.
I'm not
about
nervous.
Me doing it. If I need help, I'll tell you I need help, okay? Okay, can you do that?
I guess so.
So, the cool thing about the Angie show is props. I have to repeat myself because I have to get back into my flow of things.
Okay.
Also, my mom's here. So, we say hi to my mom. So, you probably already know what we're talking about today. Well, if you're joining us live, you're in for a treat because today's show is heavily based on audience participation. But if you're watching, just the not live show, if you're watching it later, that's fine too. It's still going to be an interesting enough show, and you can feel like you're part of the conversation in the comments there too. But today's show, we are going to be talking about what we have defined as the revival era of Disney animation, and what that most people know of as basically like one of the most famous eras is the era before the revival era. And that is like the Renaissance era, right?
Yes.
So the Renaissance, what?
Nothing. I'm just saying yes. Okay, well, let's define this. Right?
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah. So the Renaissance era is one of the most notable eras of Disney animation. And when we look back at the films of that, we can pick out very specific films and say that these films are the defining films of that era. So you were saying you think like Lion King is the most defining film of the Renaissance, and you have reasonings for that.
Yeah.
So what today we want to talk about is we want to figure out what the most defining film in the revival era is. And if you want to know more about the eras too, you can actually check out our older videos when you're done watching this one. Dale has a video explaining all of the animation eras, and Josh has a video explaining why he thinks that the revival era is done. We are at the end.
And so for me, this list is the entire list. There's no new films that are going to get added to this list.
This is a completed list. So, so first of all, the revival era is kind of what we're calling the revival era is sort of the time when Michael Eisner left the company. Bob Iger came in as the CEO, and John Lasseter basically took over animation.
Yeah.
So those films, and some might want to argue what the beginning film is of the era, but we are going to call the beginning film of the era Bolt. And some may say it is Princess and the Frog, but we're going to say, for argument's sake, today, that Bolt is the beginning. So,
okay.
Together, as a family.
You don't have to yell?
As a family.
Okay. There's no need to yell.
We are going to decide once and for all. This is official Disney business here.
Wow.
What the defining film of the revival era is. So I have all the films here. So I'll just read them off. I know you guys can read, but I'll just read them off just for argument's sake. So we're going to start with Bolt as the first film of the era. We have Princess and the Frog, Tangled, Winnie the Pooh, Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, and Moana.
This is a lot of movies. This is a lot of work.
This is a lot of work. But we're going to do it together. This is why we have audience participation. So, with all the intro that I've laid out here, and keeping all that in mind.
Yeah.
Think in the chat. I need people start thinking. Get the wheels turning. What makes a film definitive?
Right.
So not only what makes a film good, but what makes it define the era that it's in. So with Lion King, you may say that that story is kind of a defining
an important
or a character, but it'd be very specific. So what I want, and Skylar says yelling is fun. Thank you. You
don't have to yell. You're probably breaking the mic. Well, I don't know what this sounds like, so if you're breaking the mic, you're breaking the mic.
And I also just want to say real quick before we go on here in the chat, hey, it's Eric is here, and Eric likes the topic that we're talking about. Brittany is also here. For those of you who don't know, Overjoyed is Brittany, and Brittany is always here with us in the live chat as well.
Yeah, it's true.
So we're gonna come up with 5 things that we believe as a group that we can agree on are defining traits that a movie can have to make it important. So I want in the chat now you to start coming up with 5, and we're all gonna have to agree on the 5.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just write these down like kind of off screen so that I can keep a little
music.
Okay, so we got music and soundtrack
is important. What was it a success? Did it bring people into the movie? So like box office, right?
Okay, so music and soundtrack, we'll say box office.
Is it still remembered years later?
So that would be legacy, right?
Yeah, legacy.
Legacy.
Sure.
So okay, and I just want to like say to like who's saying these things. Noel is saying the box office and the legacy. Captain Akron is saying that it is the music and the soundtrack. And you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and make executive decision here. I'm gonna say I agree with those, and I'm just gonna write those down here.
Okay.
So we'll say box office numbers. Let's say legacy. What would legacy would also be like? like timelessness, like
Right.
if a movie still holds up, right? We're gonna
Yeah, yeah,
consider, and then we'll just say music.
Okay.
So we need two more. So what do you think are like some? We have two more. So this has to be like very important things. What are two more things that would make a movie, really stand out in an era and sort of be the thing that defines what the company is going to be moving forward?
I think it has to also be like how the company thinks about a movie and like what they project onto people, right? Like the last era, which is the post-Renaissance, to me the defining movie of that era is Lilo and Stitch, because they really pushed Lilo and Stitch hard, and like it got to the point where it was like almost too much.
Yeah.
But then like now when I look back, it's just like, oh yeah, Lilo and Stitch, like it's fun now.
But why is it fun? And I see, I'm just gonna say it's my dad, but I'm gonna say Peter says identifying with the character. So I would say that maybe it's something where we as a society can relate to the character. So it's like a timely film, or
yeah.
But timely, like Moana is not a timely film. But like we can still relate to the character. So
sure.
So is it just relatable characters?
You can put that up there. I mean, Skylar says story and characters. Jack says storyline, so I think that story is very important.
How do I spell relatable?
Yeah, you're almost there. A-B-L-E.
A. So what did you say? So
and story.
And story. Okay, but story in what way? Because
Like,
it has to be it has to be very specific. It can't just be the story is good.
And then like Dale says like critical success.
So let's say box office /
awards won.
So let's say box office, critical, and like awards are like kind of gonna be.
Then we've got animation, pushing the boundaries of animation, social commentary. Brittany put in things like those. So
let's say social commentary would be like with the like relatable character, right? Because it's
sure.
about
I would put that more with the story, but that's
story. I'm thinking social commentary would be with character because you're relating it to yourself. You're relating it to yourself. You're relating it to your community. You're relating it to the world.
Sure, that's fine.
So it's personal.
Okay. So we've kind of got every category.
What about voice actors? Says Jack Edwards. So why don't we say voice characters? Maybe that goes into the legacy of it too. Maybe that kind of goes. Are we storyline? Awards won. Yep, we got. I think we got a pretty good thing. If there's any more ideas of what makes it, we can consider those within it. But let's say that any other ideas that we have can probably fall under one of these categories. Because I think we got a pretty good list here, right?
I think so.
If there's anything else we need to consider in the end of it, we'll consider that. So, first we're going to start with Bolt. So, does Bolt... We'll kind of break it down a little in depth here for like maybe the first two, or for like some of the more notable ones that we feel like are notable. But let's kind of like try to... Because this is a lot of stuff. So, let's just mark off like generally...
A bunch of stuff, yeah.
So, Bolt, I think we can say it's not... Legacy.
I don't remember Bolt.
I don't remember Bolt.
I remember the character, and I thought he was cute, but I don't remember the legacy of that film.
And you don't remember the story. Would anybody think that I can check off any of these categories with Bolt? Where, as far as like, let's say box office, critical, say this is like,
I mean, it definitely
successful.
It's definitely not here. It's definitely not box office.
Okay, it doesn't really have a lasting legacy. Maybe some people say music. I don't even know if it has good music. Does like Miley Cyrus sing for it? I know she's in it. So
Bolt. Just Giggly said Bolt made $310 million, or $309 million was Dale said.
So that's actually.
But I mean, if you want to like write that in.
Okay.
But like,
Let's just say 310.
And 67% critical success. But really, 310. I mean, Winnie the Pooh is gonna be not great as far as box office.
Yes.
But this looks good right now. But when you get to Frozen and it's breaking $1 billion,
right?
You know that's
right. So we'll say like this is like a comparable. Okay, let's move on to Princess and the Frog. So Jack says Bolt's that Disney film you watch for 5 minutes and then go to something else.
Yeah, exactly. I would definitely put this movie on if we were like doing something, but I'd have to, like it's not something I would really sit down and watch.
And Noel makes a good point. If you're comparing it to Frozen, it's nothing. So,
is it? Yeah.
So, and we're gonna definitely see that when we get to Frozen.
Yeah, Princess and the Frog.
Princess and the Frog.
If somebody can give us again like that
box office was a great
box office Metacritic, that would be great to know.
That was a great idea to kind of.
Can I just say I love the music from this film?
So okay, music. I mean, music. I think we can all agree that the music in Princess and the Frog is a good equivalent to the music in pretty much any of the other classic Disney films.
Princess and the Frog made $267 million.
Okay. See, I would have thought.
No, it didn't do well, and that's why Disney stopped doing hand-drawn animation. It was like kind of their last try at it. A lot, John Musker, Ron Clements, who did Ariel, who did Little Mermaid, came back and said the only way we're going to do a movie is if we do hand-drawn animation.
Yeah.
And they really fought for it, and Disney basically said, okay, if it's a success, great. If not, then we're moving on. Right. It wasn't a success, so they moved on. 73 on Metacritic.
Okay, and Skylar, 73%. Thank you for that.
Legacy for sure.
Legacy. Okay, Skylar says legacy for sure. So let's say just because some of these I think we're gonna all agree on. So let's say we're probably all gonna agree that Princess and the Frog is a big legacy. So let's just put a 5 here. We're gonna do for things that that don't have solid numbers like this.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a 5, a scale of 5. So we'll say this is a 5 out of 5 for legacy. Let's say 5 out of 5 for music. I think we can all agree on that, right? Or 4.5 out of 5?
I don't know. What would you 1 out of 5?
Yeah. And then also be thinking about relatable character, social commentary, and the story of it all. I mean, I want to give these all a 5.
Yeah, that's difficult because I would say I really love the music, and to me this has a better at home media presence than it ever did in theaters, clearly because it's 267, but because of Netflix and things like that, it's gained a lot of ground.
Well, look at these two numbers compared to each other.
4.5. Are you saying 4.5 for legacy or music, or for relatability, etc.?
And Jack likes the storyline, so let's. Maybe should we do the number, or should we just check and then we'll go back and rate the numbers when because I know we're gonna have a tie on a couple of these where they're all checked off. So then that can be the tiebreaker later. So maybe we should just check them for now.
Yeah, check them and we'll come back. Anything that gets a check mark will get a number. Dale says music for him is 5, characters is 4. So that's possible.
Let's do it just for the heck of it for this one.
You want to put an overall number here at the end? I know there's
yeah, we'll think about that after.
Okay, sure.
So then let's move on to Tangled. So we know that this, and if somebody could look up the
box office stuff for us.
Yeah. As far as legacy, I think this is a 5 out of 5. But I actually think Tangled has more of a lasting legacy than Princess and the Frog.
Yes, I agree.
And I think that this...
On a personal note, no, but I think Tangled,
you know what?
yes.
I think I need to add a 6th category here. I'm just going to go ahead and make that executive decision, and I'm going to say innovation.
Yeah, that's kind of what... I mean, moving animation forward, doing something different.
Yeah.
I think that was a huge thing.
So let's say... Because this is something...
Bolt is still a negative on that one for me.
And I'm gonna say Princess and the Frog. It's it didn't.
It wasn't really innovative. I mean, it was really treading the same water.
But Tangled is
Yeah.
Tangled is innovative.
Tangled was 591 million at the box office, 71 Metacritic.
What was it? 590.
591 and 71. Which is interesting that the Princess and the Frog did better critically. But okay, so Tangled was the first film that they tried to, and this is what we did on this past week's Modern Mouse. It was the first film that they tried to be like gender neutral, right? Like
Okay.
I guess like Bolt is gender neutral, but like Bolt would be more or less considered a boys' movie in an older thought process.
Yeah.
Tangled would be a girls' movie if it was named Rapunzel, but they tried to be more gender
Right.
neutral.
So does that make it like a social commentary, or does that make it innovative?
That lantern scene. It's both. I think
So
the innovation.
maybe
and I think that,
we give 2 check marks to innovation.
I think that they try really hard to make these characters relatable because they give you right away in the film. They give you Flynn. So like, even though it's a girls' movie, the first character you're meeting and the most like relatable character is Flynn, and then you get to meet Rapunzel and you get to hear her story. And like, to me, the music isn't 100% lovable as much as Princess and the Frog's music is. Like, there's one or two songs in here that are like, yeah, this is great, but like, I'm sorry to anybody, that bar song is like, meh.
So let's say instead, for now, just for the heck of it, as we're going through, we can give double check marks. How about that? So for Princess and the Frog, we have like another check mark for the music. Tangled, we just have 1 check mark.
Oh, he's Diz Geekly is saying, would we make Princess and the Frog because it's the first African American princess?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think because we're saying
no, that's this Princess and the Frog.
Oh.
So erase that.
Unless we can think of a third innovative thing about Tangled.
No.
Okay,
Gives
so
her a check mark.
okay, as far as legacy, I'd say it's a long-lasting legacy, and I think that because of the innovation, it's a legacy.
I would say, to me, for a lot of people, right, like Great Mouse Detective might have been the start of the Renaissance, but for a lot of people, The Little Mermaid was the start of the Renaissance. Bolt, for a lot of people, doesn't even count. Like, for a lot of people, they don't think this is.
Yeah.
Princess and the Frog, to me, is the start, but again, this box office number says, in my eyes, that Tangled is the beginning of this era when it really took off. So I would give it a legacy check mark just for that. But then I would also say that the characters and the story and what Disney wants us to remember, right? These are characters that we meet in the park. They have their own show. They have their own bathroom area at Disney World. So I would give this.
They have permanent staying power in the park.
Versus Princess and the Frog does not. And Bolt barely is even on the radar.
So legacy in film and legacy in parks.
I would give it 2 check marks there. Yeah.
And then what about story? I think story. Everyone agreed. So
story's great.
And then also, Noel says innovation. I'm just gonna write this kind of like off on the side. Yeah. Innovation 5. We got music 4.5. Can you read the other ones to me?
Music 4. Sorry, character was 4.5. 4.5 for character, and then 5 legacy. Tangled is one of the highest grossing princesses with merch. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so we got merch. We got parks, and so maybe
it's a good third check mark. Yeah. Because
so
this doesn't have merch.
We're considering here merch.
And parks.
Parks.
Right, because if you have a ride in the parks, you're established as this, right? That just makes sense. Like, Bolt, I mean, you see some plush toys here and there, but otherwise that doesn't matter. Princess and the Frog, you can meet those characters in the park, but they could go away anytime. Other than that, what do they have? They have a whole New Orleans square, but they won't ever give any of that space to Tiana.
So for legacy, we're saying merch, parks, and rewatchability. So, but would you say Princess and the Frog has a rewatchability factor?
Yeah, I would definitely put it here, with the 1 check mark.
But we wouldn't do 2 because it has merch. Do you think merch?
Well,
sells?
I think these 3 things are what matters. So, to me, Princess and the Frog has the rewatchability, but this has the rewatch, the parks, and the merch.
Okay, but this only has the 1. So, okay, moving on to Winnie the Pooh.
Which is going to be a tricky one because it's a sequel.
Okay, and Dale says like just checkmark system is good for now. So I think like we're 30 minutes in now and we're only halfway through the list. Well, not even halfway through the list. Yeah. So okay, let's move on to Winnie the Pooh. Box office didn't do good. I'm sure.
No,
but we can get the numbers.
Box office for Winnie the Pooh and the critical response. Yeah. 74 Metacritic for Winnie the Pooh.
Aw, it's got 74.
Dale, yes, they should retheme any of the restaurants in New Orleans Squares to Tiana's Place. That would at least give them.
Yeah, why didn't?
There's Cafe Orleans.
That's so obvious. Okay, so then
there's 4 restaurants.
Yeah, so let's move on.
Okay, sorry.
So Legacy Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh has. It's always gonna have. But it's not because of the movie.
It's not
because of the movie.
It's rewatchability doesn't exist. The parks doesn't exist, and the merch doesn't exist because of this movie.
Right. So we're not going to count that.
I don't think
so for music, does it even? Again, it probably didn't bring any new music. Relatable character, social commentary.
Again, they were all relatable.
They were already existing. Story, I don't even know.
50.1. 50.1 is what it made.
Oh, that's sad.
So again, its rewatchability clearly isn't there because like it's not.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting to see like what they made and what the percentage they got was.
Dale said 33 million on a $30 million budget. I don't know if that's domestic or if that's in total. But
let's just keep it at 50 because I.
And still, you can see on a $30 million budget, they only made $3 million off the film versus. Yeah. Like, even Princess and the Frog, it made a ton more money because it was over $100 million film.
Right.
So
we're gonna say that innovation, no.
Yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph box office. I know the number is gonna be high. If somebody could get that for us. Legacy. I mean, definitely a legacy. We have a sequel coming out. So I would say that rewatchability comes into and just rewatchability because it's just a good movie. And can everyone see this pretty well? Just want to make sure everyone can like read this, or if I need to write this in black. As far as parks go,
72 Metacritic.
I got 70.
There's nothing currently in the parks for Wreck-It Ralph. There are plans, but like that doesn't matter
and
at
merch.
this point.
Do people really buy merch for Wreck-It Ralph?
No.
People buy merch from us for Wreck-It Ralph. For the mouse ears. We sell a lot of Wreck-It Ralph. But I'm going to say
471 million.
I'm going to leave that just one check mark.
Yeah,
there.
I agree.
Music, no music.
Relatable
but
characters?
is the soundtrack the soundtrack's just not really notable, relatable characters. I think that this is a big one.
Yes.
Because you have Ralph and you have Vanellope. Story, I'm gonna give it a check on that because it's a new type of a story. It's almost like a Pixar-esque story. Right.
This is like their Lion King. Lion King was an original story for them. This is an original story. I think also the social commentary here. We kind of talked about the gender bending in this film and kind of trying to put women on an equal level. With male characters, which was something, that's new.
And I think, so Skylar says, I wish they had more Wreck-It Ralph park representation.
That one
hit song. Oh my goodness. Speaking of that, I would babysit my cousins, and it was around the time that Wreck-It Ralph was like bigger, like maybe a year after it came out, and my cousin Kate would like sing the song over and over again, the Sugar Rush. So
when will we see you again from whatever Owl? I forget his name. It's the one guy, but his name is something Owl. I forget. But like they use the song for Paint the Night Parade.
Oh yeah.
But in my opinion, the Paint the Night Parade is more iconic, and its legacy is more iconic with that song in the long run than Wreck-It Ralph is. Like when you see Paint the Night Parade and you hear that song, you don't think Wreck-It Ralph. You think Paint the Night Parade.
But for the heck of it, I think that's notable enough for a check mark. Personally. Because I think that that's notable for a check mark. But I also just think, like, the fact that we have 2 characters...
Owl City, that's it.
Oh. We have... So we have 2 characters that are completely different, but very relatable. That gives a check mark. Another check mark, I think, comes from the fact that it's like a very original type of story, but has a lot of nostalgia tied to it. And then I would say I like that the idea of legacy come in as a second check mark with the Paint the Night? Because even though you don't
No.
associate it, maybe it does have a legacy.
Does anyone believe in their heart
If anyone thinks
the Paint the Night parade is legacy is more than like when you hear the song from Wreck-It Ralph, do you think Paint the Night or do you think Wreck-It Ralph? Because I always think Paint the Night.
I thought you meant the Sugar Rush
No,
song.
no, the Owl City song.
So, because, yeah, my cousin would sing the Sugar Rush song. Sugar Rush. Oh. Anyway, so we're in slow mode right now. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. I can try and fix it. We'll see what happens here. There's possibilities of things. I don't know.
So, while Josh is trying to figure this out for the time being.
I don't know if I can change it here. Like right now. It might be for the next stream. I'm not sure.
So Noel says, I hear the song, I think Ralph. I'm executive decision. I'm giving it legacy, even though you don't think so. I think the chat says otherwise.
Well, I'm also like a theme parks guy.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna move on.
matters.
Innovation, definitely, right? Innovation.
Country Girl says she thinks. Yeah. Do you think? Yeah, I guess because the.
Yeah.
It's
See, I think
it's new.
the chat
It's
is
an original
saying,
story.
yeah.
Sure, it's innovative.
Frozen box office definitely.
Give us the
If
box
somebody can
office.
give
I mean, I think it's like
74.
1.2 billion, right? Something like that. I'm gonna say it's 1.2.
So legacy. Should I just like
It's
fill
all,
in the box?
just like all the check marks, honestly.
So we got merch, we got parks, we got rewatchability here. Should we give rewatchability like 10 check marks because every kid in America is watching it on repeat?
Well, I don't even. Okay, so even as an adult, the rewatchability is there, but like not. Like I would rather watch a couple of these movies rather than Frozen. But you can't deny the amount of merch sales from this film, and you can't deny that immediately those characters were in the park. They put the show in the park. They put the ride in Epcot. Like immediately, plans were laid out to just like keep this movie going.
So we'll say 1.2. So Dale says it's a 1.2 billion on a
150 million budget, which is kind of along the same lines.
Yeah. Well, so we're gonna say I mean, this is like that's on a $150 million budget. That's
huge.
a huge profit.
That's way better than Winnie the Pooh.
That's a funny thing to say.
Yeah.
So music, I mean, should I just...
Noel says you should have 2 check marks because of one song that like is just insane, and then the entire soundtrack.
Because let's say that's true. I also agree with that because of the fact that it's now an attraction in Walt Disney World and in Disneyland, and for a while they had like the show and they have so much stuff. All of that has to do with that song Let It Go.
I believe their plan is still to build Arendelle at Tokyo Disney.
And that song Let It Go is like the flagship of all of these things. It's like the main event of all those things. Relatable character, social commentary. You have that idea of sisterly love. I think every single little girl relates to either Anna or Elsa.
Yeah, relatable. I think each character is relatable.
So, but how many check marks? Because we say...
Okay, so 1 for relatable characters.
Okay.
And then 1 for social commentary. I would say yes.
Because of the fact that it's like...
It's a different type of love.
Oh, different type of love. And then we have the story, which is the classic story of...
I'd give it a 1. I'd give it a 1 check mark. It's not like the most amazing story I saw, but I think...
Does it get a check mark at all?
Yeah, I think it's a check mark. What do you guys think? I'm pretty sure the song was made for the movie. Yeah, I think that for Wreck-It Ralph, the Owl City song was made for that movie. Yeah. So sure, yeah, we'll give it that. 1 check mark there, but I think it's innovation. Same, it would get a check mark because it's it took a story and it wasn't a new story, but they kind of evolved one story and made it something different. Yeah.
So.
Oh, it was a Christian song before Wreck-It Ralph came out.
Yeah.
Way to go, Owl City.
So, and then, okay, so Brittany says it was a song specifically made for the movie. Country Girl says it was a Christian song before the movie. And then Diz Giggly said, yes, the song was made for the movie. It was a single by Owl City.
Well, here's the thing. So we can't, like, 100% agree about the Wreck-It Ralph song. We can all agree that Let It Go was written for that movie. We can all agree that we all know who Idina Menzel is because of that movie.
Sure.
Like, right? Like, Owl City is not as great as Idina Menzel.
Sure. So, Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6, if we got the box office.
Critical, if somebody can give us that.
Okay, we got slow mode is off for us, so I don't know if everyone else is getting slow mode off. I don't know what that means. But, anyway, so we get the box office. Legacy, Big Hero 6. I mean, we had some meet and greets in the park.
Yeah, but those are all gone. They're supposed to be building a ride at Tokyo Disney, but again, that hasn't happened yet.
Okay, so...
Merchandise. I mean, like, they sold a bunch of Baymaxes right off the bat, but, like, it's legacy over time.
Yeah.
They're going to sell more Elsa and Anna dolls than they'll ever sell Baymax dolls.
Yeah. So
right?
but how about rewatchability?
74 and 657 million.
74. That's interesting that this is about half of what Frozen made, but has the same critic rating. So as far as legacy goes, I think like we would agree that rewatchability factor is there, but the merch in the
Everything
parks
else,
is
yeah.
not. So
it's getting its own animated series. That's true. Like,
okay.
It's getting that.
Oh yeah. That's
so
a good point.
it gets 2 for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. As far as, and then maybe the legacy will go on further. Maybe it'll become bigger with the animated series.
The one song, the Fall Out Boy song, I can't even tell you how that song goes. I really liked that song when it came out, and then after 3 weeks, it was like, I can't tell you any lyrics from it.
Okay, so Disney says we still have Baymax at Epcot. So let's still only give it the 2, and let's just count like maybe the meet and greet as half and the show as a half.
Yeah,
for now.
To check the TV show and can rewatch.
Okay, yeah, let's say that.
Yeah.
And then music. So as far as that song, like, let's not even say. I don't think it gets a check for
I don't
music.
think that
it's not.
Fall Out Boy is not
Relatable character, social commentary. I think we definitely get
good Japanese characters. We get.
I'm gonna give it that for culture.
And I think that the characters in general are just really good. Right?
So we got at least one. Okay, music, 1 check for that one song.
Yeah, but so even that, Wreck-It Ralph, When Will We See You Again, Owl City, I can tell you that. I can tell you the name of that song. I can't tell you the name of this Big Hero 6 song.
So then if I'm giving this a check, then I should give this a check. So should I give these each at least a check?
But then I think you would have to maybe give, if we're going to...
Yeah, because this deserves at least 2 if these each get 1. Let's not give these checks for now. If we want to go back, if somebody is really wanting me to give check
we'll go
marks to the music for Wreck-It Ralph and Big Hero 6, then we'll do that.
Story, Big Hero 6.
But Big Hero 6, are we social commentary? Are we only giving it 1 check mark?
I don't feel like it has a real social.
Okay, and that's Immortals.
Immortals by Fall Out Boy.
Yeah. So no check. So
no check.
Okay. So we'll put the one thing here for the fact that it's about
the story for me doesn't really do much. I prefer hanging out with the characters over any story.
Okay, but how about the story? It's a kind of a different story than any other story we've been told.
It's an original story.
So let's give it a check for original
innovative.
Story.
It's innovative, not story.
No, it's not innovative because it doesn't. I would say innovative changes. Whatever innovative happens here would affect this. Something has to be invented here to impact Zootopia. Did anything come through? Were there any breakthroughs in Big Hero 6 that led to Zootopia?
I guess not. I don't know.
So I would rather say innovation's that. Story, I'll give you a story for original story. I'll give a check mark.
Noel's saying innovation in the city of San Francisco, the layout of the city. And they did actually build out the whole thing. It was based on a Marvel comic book. That's true. It's not on a completely original.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Story.
That's true. I was just thinking original story because it was
those characters based on something. I don't know if that story is 100% original or not. Guardians is slightly. Anyways,
So maybe I
wouldn't
shouldn't
say
give it a check
100%.
for story then. Maybe it's a check between story and innovation. What do we think?
I would say one check between the two of them.
Okay.
If anything, yeah.
So let's say
I love Big Hero. Country Girl
go-
said she loves Big Hero 6. I do too.
we're doing a check in the middle. Okay, moving on.
I love Mochi the cat.
Moving on to Zootopia, and I'm gonna have a hard time with this one because this one is like my favorite.
Zootopia, can someone give us the box office
Yeah.
Metacritic stuff?
So, but let's go on the legacy. I want to give this so many check marks.
Here's the problem. Well, the standards that we've given it, it doesn't really sell on merch. It doesn't have any parks
No.
at all. A lot of people have said eventually, like, Animal Kingdom could get a whole entire Zootopia area, but it doesn't right now.
Yes.
They didn't have that, right? Like, when Frozen came out, they were, like, very much like, this is going to be in the parks, they're going to have all this merch. They didn't have that with Zootopia. I don't think they knew that that was going to be as big of a hit as it was. But rewatchability, 100%. I would rewatch Zootopia every day.
So I'm gonna do the check mark for that. Music, we don't have any music. Relatable character, social commentary. This one is gonna be a huge focus.
This is also, I believe this is $1 billion film.
Okay, so and Skylar says Zootopia needs more park representation. I agree. I think I almost wonder, like, because Legacy, we have this as rewatchability. We have a check mark. I almost would say for Legacy, cult classic.
1.02 billion. I would say the song, and maybe this is what people, okay, so like, we're not going to compare this to Frozen because it's different, but if you compare the Shakira song here, which is like the singular song,
Yeah.
to the Big Hero 6 Fall Out Boy song, to the Owl City Wreck-It Ralph song, to
Yeah.
me, I would say the Zootopia song is the best song of those
Okay.
three.
You
in
would
my
say it's the
opinion.
best, but I would say it's equivalent. It's similar enough to like the success overall.
Okay, sure.
So, but I would say Legacy for Zootopia. I would almost give it another check mark just because I think that people like love it so much.
I wouldn't until they...
Okay, it needs
Add
to be
more
it
things.
needs to be proven by Disney.
Right.
So okay, so relatable characters, social commentary. I would say, I mean.
There's 2 check marks already, 2 for characters and social commentary. So
Okay, I agree. I think that this is one of the biggest.
the social commentary is huge on this
I
film,
almost want to give it
100%.
another one just because there's so much.
400
Because it's not only a personal story, but it's also.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it another one.
Zootopia totally wins for the song battle. 422 million views on YouTube for that Shakira song.
Maybe we give it a check.
I think that song is when I hear that song, I think Zootopia. When I hear that Fall Out Boy song, I think, oh, it's a Fall Out Boy song.
Yeah.
When I hear the Wreck-It Ralph song, some people said Wreck-It Ralph, and maybe it's just because I've seen Paint the Night. Maybe some other people haven't. I think Paint the Night. But Zootopia, when I hear that song, I don't even think it's Shakira. I think, oh, Zootopia.
Yeah. Ow, 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 ow. Okay,
Give it a check for that song. That's what
Fine.
they say, right?
Okay, story, freaking yeah, check mark. Because it's original story, right? Now I'm questioning my own judgment on
Yeah,
that.
it's an original story. I wouldn't even say it's innovative because it brought, well, in some ways it's innovative. It brought back a genre of Disney animation that we haven't had in a long time, which I don't think we had really since Lion King.
But it did it. I think in. Okay, so sorry, I'm just gonna quickly. Dale said there's 422 million views on the Shakira song, whereas for the Fall Out Boy song, there's actually only 157.
Which, I mean, it's 157 million views on a song.
No, only 100. No, I'm just kidding.
But it
Okay.
just, yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So we're gonna say innovation because
they play that song at Magic Kingdom.
Okay. So yeah, it's got a check. It's got a check. We got it. So, innovation. Yeah, I agree. Innovation for social commentary. Not only does it get a check for social commentary, I think it's
But it's
actually
also innovating
innovative because
social
of
commentary.
how far it goes.
And how far
I think how far it goes with that, but not only how.
how it shows you the social commentary.
Yeah, it's how it shows you the social commentary, but it like takes a big risk. But then also, like you said, it brings back the idea of animals as people.
Yeah, yeah.
But it does it in the modern world, so it's
Right.
different than like Robin Hood.
Which
I
what
would give
Dale
it
said,
2 for innovation. So yeah, Dale said Lion King isn't anthropomorphic, only Robin Hood was. Oh yeah, so me and him are on the same. I'm gonna give it 2 for innovation. If you don't think that's fair, come back. We're gonna move on to Moana now. If somebody could tell us the box office for that. Legacy, merch, parks, rewatchability. Merch, yes.
For Moana?
Yeah.
Yeah, merch is killing it. Doesn't really have a Parks present yet. I mean, it's the newest film.
If
in
it
this
doesn't
category.
have it, then we're not going to count
And
it.
rewatchability, yeah.
As far, we got 81%.
Which is the highest critical praise
Yeah,
of any of
that's
them.
interesting. Music, oh yeah, 100% music. I would give it 2 for music because
Yeah, the one song.
We've brought in, for these we have like featured artists. For this one, it's like a featured artist as far as like bringing in somebody who's already famous, but it's somebody who wrote the entire soundtrack. So I would give it 2 because of that. I think that's a very interesting. I would also say that in itself is innovative. The fact that they brought in Lin-Manuel
Miranda.
Yeah.
You're welcome, and how far I'll go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
643 million. That's interesting. I would have thought maybe it would be on par. Like, because that's on par with Big Hero 6. I would have thought that Moana would have made more than Big Hero 6. And maybe a little closer to what Frozen made. So then, relatable character, social commentary. I mean, it's about basically breaking free and being who you need to be, right? I would say definitely a check mark on that. Are there 2 check marks on that though, or are there only 1?
I think that the characters, there's multiple characters that you can get involved with, which is like Zootopia. But then I also think that it doesn't have a love story for a princess film. It doesn't do a lot of normal tropes for a princess film, and like,
and the ones that it does, it makes fun of.
I would chalk that up to innovation, but I would also chalk that up to story or social commentary as well.
Okay, so you're saying the fact that it's not a love story.
Yeah.
So I would say
that she doesn't need no man.
Yeah. What did we say? Let's say that's social commentary. Right? It's not a princess film.
But I mean,
yeah, it's not a princess film. So that's innovative, right? It's innovative to have a girl be the forefront of a movie when it's not. But technically it is a princess film. Like they're calling it.
I would give. Okay, so I would say, if anything,
this is a tough one.
What kind of people are saying? I think the story is a check mark, but I definitely think that innovation is too. I think it's a good story. It's a memorable story, but I think we're, like Brittany said, we're highlighting a culture that doesn't ever get noticed. But then we're also changing. We're changing how people view women and princess roles, right?
Okay.
Which is the same as Frozen.
I would say that's 2 check marks then, because that's changing the view on women, but also changing the formula for movies.
Right.
So it's
but Frozen's the same way.
Okay.
So if you're gonna give that a check mark, you got to give Frozen a check mark. But
isn't that what that check mark already is for?
Yes, I guess so.
Okay.
Yes.
Does everyone pretty much agree with this? Or does anyone think we should take away or add any more check marks? Because we're going to start tallying this up now.
I don't know if you can see it too well, but yeah.
We're about an hour in here. So we need to wrap this up.
Gotta wrap it.
So I think it is clear here that we have Frozen.
Frozen has the best box office. And overall, I mean, a lot of these critically are pretty close.
Yeah.
So you would just give it to Frozen for that.
Yeah, but what is in Moana?
Moana has the
Moana doesn't have as many. Okay, so Moana has highest critical. Frozen has highest box office, and I think Frozen has 1 more check mark than Moana. So we're gonna have a debate. Is Frozen or Moana the defining movie, right? No, you're counting Zootopia. Oh, does Zootopia have an equivalent?
Frozen for us has 9. Moana has 8. Zootopia has 7.
Okay. Are there any others with 7?
No, Big Hero 6 has 4.
That's it?
Wreck-It Ralph has 6. Winnie the Pooh has 0. Tangled has 8.
Oh.
And Princess and the Frog has 6. Bolt has 0. So...
Okay, so we're gonna go... Let's say... Is it fair to say Moana, Frozen, and Tangled? It's down to those 3.
If you want to give it... Wreck-It Ralph is getting the very first sequel. If you want to give it that. So you
I already did. I already did like a...
Okay, it did get that. Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of what I said when I gave it that second check mark. So, so let's narrow it down now. Let's say Moana, Frozen, and Tangled.
Which are all, quote-unquote, princess films.
That's interesting.
And
so...
Frozen has 1 extra check mark because it really has... It's basically the only one... Well, no, I can't say that. Frozen does have a higher presence in the parks than Tangled, and it probably sells more merch than Tangled. But I don't know.
Okay, so Tangled, we said Legacy was 5.
Yes. Catch Pokemon said Zootopia deserves at least one more find a place for it so it can be in there.
Should we? I don't mind adding it.
Out of the non-princess films, Zootopia is the best one.
Okay.
In my opinion.
It's getting added to the consideration. So we're going to now give them just real... This is quick because we're already an hour in here. So Legacy for Tangled, we did this before. We gave it a 5. We gave it a 4 for music and a 4.5 for relatable character. What do we want to give it for story? For innovation, we've given it a 5. What do we want to give it for story? First person to say what they think we should is getting the number.
Oh, you're not giving it to me? You're not allowing me to do it?
If you say it first.
I mean, I could say that it's a 3. It's a story we already knew.
Okay.
Right? They just kind of redid it a bit.
For Tangled, yeah, I guess. Okay, Frozen. What are we saying for Legacy? Well, when I guess, like, box office, here, this gets...
What?
Like...
Tangled?
Yeah, we're considering box office, right?
Sure, it's the lowest box office of the 4 that we have here.
But how about the percentages? Is it the lowest?
It's the lowest
percentage?
It's the lowest of Tangled.
So there we have 4 things here. This one is a 1 out of 4, right?
Yeah.
And then we got box office.
The next lowest is Moana, but it's the highest critically.
But not by much.
Yeah.
So we'll say 2.
Also, I feel like box office counts more than critically because it's one person versus however many people.
So we'll say that.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. The ranks. Frozen Legacy, I would say 5, definitely. Music 5. Relatable character, social commentary. We've given it 2 for the fact that it's like women, no love story.
I would say, I'd give it
quirky.
like a 4 there.
Sure.
Story is the lesser on that one for me and for a lot of people. Yeah, Tangled got the first TV show and short. It did get a 5 out of 5 for Legacy, so we are giving it that.
Okay, so for as far as story for Frozen, we've given it 1 check mark. You know what?
4.
Catch Pokemon says 4. I'm gonna give it a 4 for story. I think that's a good idea. Innovation.
I mean, I would say 4.
I would say 3.
Really?
What does it innovate?
Because it innovates. Well, I guess like it does. Whatever. Yeah, sure.
There is a love story.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna say 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 3. Zootopia Legacy.
3. Which sucks to say.
Because I love it. Music 3.
Yeah, not hugely great
No.
there.
Relatable character, social comedy. I'm giving this a 5.
100% 5 there.
Story 5. And innovation, I would say 5. Right? All 5s except for last 3 are 5s.
Sure.
Moana. So Legacy for Moana, 4.
Yeah, I would say 4.
A
It
4?
hasn't hit that point yet.
Brittany says
for Frozen, Legacy 5, Music 5, Story 4, Innovation 4. So her only change would be that this would be a 4.
okay, fine. I'll give it a 4.
And then
That's fine. We'll do that.
5 for Story on Zootopia, and yeah, we give it the 5 for that. So yeah.
Moana, Legacy, we got 4. Music 5.
5. It's the best
Big
soundtrack
5.
besides Frozen.
Yeah. Relatable characters, social commentary,
I'd
4.
say
4.5? 4?
I go 5. I think it's better than Frozen.
Okay. Story, I would say 5.
Yeah, 5 on that
And
one.
innovation?
Not as innovative. I would say 3 there.
Okay, I'm going to say 4 because I think it's a little more.
Okay, sure.
3.5. 4, 5.
4. 4.
Okay.
4 out of 5.
4. Okay. Josh, you're adding these two. I'm adding these two.
I'm adding the bottom two?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Where should I rate it? Here, I'm going to rate
Just
it in...
in black.
No, we're changing colors here, and it's just gonna
Changing
be...
it up.
Okay, I forget what I added now.
Thanks to those who stuck around. I appreciate it.
So
25 here for Moana.
Wait, I lost what I had now. So you can't see that.
They did make Moana. Yeah, we did give it a 4 out of 5 on innovation for Moana because
Okay.
the water for sure.
We got
100%.
21.5 for that. For Frozen, we have... Oh, wait, I didn't count that one. Sorry.
So 22.
I'm the worst.
She's the worst.
22.5. For Frozen, we have... We got 26, so Frozen is above Tangled. What did we get for Zootopia and Moana?
Zootopia's 24. Moana's 25.
Well, we have a clear winner here.
Frozen is the definitive film.
Frozen is the definitive film. I get
Of
to
the
say it because
revival.
I'm the host.
You're the host.
So you've heard it here first. Frozen is the definitive film of the revival era. And we didn't just decide that. We decided it with you. Mostly. What are you looking at?
I'm just looking at the board.
Total points is 30?
Oh, you could get a maximum 30.
Oh, okay. So, okay, yeah, so this is a 22 out of 30, 26 out of 30, 24, 25 out of 30. So, it's almost a perfect score. So, I think that this was a lot of fun. I think that the live show serves well with
For this kind of
something
thing?
like this.
Sure.
I think we went way long. This is supposed to be a 45-minute show. We went an hour.
Yeah.
But I think that was okay for my first hosting time.
Dale said Angie is a great host, better than the other person they had. Oh, which
Yeah,
is me.
that
Thanks. Frozen
person.
is what I think of during the revival era. Yeah, Frozen. Yeah. I think that's true. I think that these three, Tangled started it, right? Just like Ariel started Little Mermaid, but these three in general, Frozen, Zootopia, Moana, will be the three longest lasting.
Yeah.
And Tangled because it's a princess film.
Yeah.
Princesses they always push, but Zootopia is interesting because it's not. It'll still last.
But and you still have to give credit to Tangled because even though it's got less of these ratings, it really made way for Frozen to come about, and I think the innovation proves that. And we did give it a 5 for innovation. I think it really led the way to towards Frozen, and it opened up the doors for Frozen to become the most defining era. Or the most defining movie. So if you want to learn more about the revival era, you can check out Josh's video, which he did, which is about why he thinks that the revival era is officially over.
This is the
You can check out Dale's video as well, which is basically just explaining the Disney eras. It's one of the fastest growing videos on our channel right now.
Now is over 100 million views.
Yeah, 100,000 views, not million.
Oh yeah, 100 million, 100,000. Sorry.
If you wanna,
If we were at 100 million, we would probably not just have 3,000 something.
so if you want to hear more from us, definitely check us out on social media. Basically, our handles are always Modern Mouse and Modern Mouse Josh. If you want to check us out on Facebook, make sure you check out Network 1901. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click on that little bell icon right next to the subscribe button, because that will give you notifications for every time we come out with a new video. And we have 3 new videos a week, so you're definitely going to want to be in the loop on that. If you want to see anything else that we're doing, you can go over to network1901.com. It's kind of like the hub. We do podcasts as well as videos, so you want to go check that out. Make sure that you join the conversation, join the discussion next week, because we do this live show every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you, Josh. Which is also noon Eastern. So if you want to be part of a discussion like the one we had today, which was a lot of fun, I think this went really well. I'm like very excited about how well this went.
Yeah, except for, we went over an hour, but that's okay. People hung out and had a good time.
Yeah, we had fun. And if you want to join us next week, make sure you join us live. If not, you can rewatch it later. Other than that, thank you guys for joining me and being so supportive on my first day at my new job, hosting the Saturday Morning Live on Network 1901.
Good job.
Hurry back.
Keep on moving, people. Thanks, guys, for checking us out.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Good.
Stick around in the chat if you want. We'll probably be chatting for a little bit.
Yeah, like maybe 5 more minutes or so.
Yeah. Stick around.